in the past, I used to trade all my work for drugs and alcohol.
I know about mental illness because I had it myself.
I got a lot of talent. I could be doing this, but alcohol is always in the way, you know.
There's a lot of great artists around the state who've been affected by mental illness, and they haven't had the opportunities to really get involved into the art scene and promote their artwork. We have 3 gallery spaces, and 2 of them are dedicated to Alaska Native artists, and 1 of them is for artists who've been affected by mental illness, substance abuse, or homelessness. And I guess they fall under the terminology of as outsider art.
Being a part of the Two Spirits Gallery has made a difference in my attitude. It gives me a chance to show off my artwork and show people who I am. Ever since I could crawl as a kid, I was fascinated with birds. I call it feather work. They're all natural colors, and I had to figure all this out myself. Well, it gives me something to do besides ruminate on suicide, for instance.
A lot of the artists have lived on fringes of society, so we have artists who've been incarcerated, and of course artists who are homeless. What we do here is help people get their artwork show ready. I help them with art supplies and a space for them to work. We also try to educate people on marketing their art. How do you know what to charge for your artwork? Let's go down to this other room here and we'll put some prices on it.
Okay.
So this is a consignment agreement, and I give that to all the artists who come in and want to put work on commission here. And it's your contract between the gallery and yourself, and it's really important you read all of it. It explains how we pay you. So you have $250 on here, and you put $185 on there.
Yeah.
So that's what you want, and okay.
Yeah, that's where I signed right here, right? A lot of folk coming off the streets, you know, we're trying our best, and I enjoy this program, you know. It's winter time, you know, because I have no place to go out there on the street.
The Two Spirits Gallery is actually part of the Recovery Services program at Cook Inlet Tribal Council, which consists of a full continuum of care for substance abusers.
I went to treatment center at Attorney Turner, and helped me to stay sober by going out and hanging out with sober people.
Because people are in residence for a long time, we have an artist in residence, which then segues into the gallery. Moody, who is the artist in residence at Ernie Turner Center, he hadn't carved for like 20 years because he had been on the streets and homeless, and after being in treatment and getting sober, his craft came back, and he does really fine art, so we wanted also a venue for establishing him back in his career.
I learned how to carve in jail over 20 years ago. I learned from God. I asked him to teach me how to carve, and one day I was able to carve. I normally have an idea what I'm going to make when I start, but it might change while I'm doing it, you know. This one I have 2 different dances on there. I put a eagle on top, and this one is a raven dancer, and the one on this side is a walrus dancer.
The mission of the Two Spirits Art Gallery is to work in partnership with our people to develop opportunities that fulfill our endless potential and meet people where they're at in life. And this is not a prescribed program in the sense that the federal government's handed us a grant and says, you will do this. What we've been able to do in this program is pull resources from within the organization and put together a program where people really feel like they have the ability to express themselves. And it's also another element in people's success and recovery.
I came to Alaska because of domestic violence. And prior to that, I exclusively did oil paintings. And my ex cut up my paintings. And I wasn't able to do any artwork, period, for at least 5 years. And so I decided that that wasn't something I was going to give up. Two-Spirit has really helped me. It gave me the opportunity to know that I wasn't going to give that up, you know, that was part of me. And then being around other people who are going through different things and the energy that you get from them, it has really been a lifesaver for me. I wanted to really express how women, how we kind of heal each other. And so that's the theme, it's like the healing theme, and how we really never really alone.
She was referred to me through South Central Counseling, and Tara suffers from really severe depression. She lives on an income of $230 a month. When I met her, she didn't have any money for art supplies either, and she has a degenerative back disorder and didn't have a bed. So it ends up being through the arts that people are also getting really kind of like case management services as well, and just trying to help them get some of their basic life needs met.
Kay has been finding them housing and finding them medical care, finding them beds. So her role has kind of transitioned from curator to case manager.
Our gallery has been really supported by a small projects grant to the Alaskan Mental Health Consumer Web. It's a drop-in center. People can come in there. They just have to be sober when they come in the doors. That's where I find a lot of my artists, people who've come in and moved in from the villages. They don't have access to supplies, and they don't have access to a place to do their work. And we've given them those things, but also master carvers to work with.
I heard about Kay needing people to teach carving. I do soapstone work and some ivory, and I thought maybe, yeah, I could go and teach other people how to carve. With art, it's a spiritual thing. It's like when somebody finishes a piece of artwork, it's like they become somebody. They said, I did this, and I think it's a great thing. I learned how to do this from my mom. And where I come from is a whaling village. I knew, you know, from my grandfathers, the way they talked about, you know, the Great Spirit and the Spirit in the world, but I could not put a face on the Great Spirit. But there is one way I seen the face of the Great Spirit. The only way I could understand is like if I take one of these dots, they're ivory dots, inlaid ivory dots, and say one of these dots is like a planet. And that could only mean the Great Spirit is much greater and bigger than that.
It's an avenue where people who are not normally heard can express themselves. It's an avenue where people have a voice. And I believe that's really important for our people as we move ahead.
Right now we're in my apartment, and this is where I do my carving. This mask here I'm doing is one of those whale dancing masks. In fact, if you look at it real good, you'll see two faces. One face is half a face on this side, and this has two faces on this side. But through the nose, you can also see the whale's tail on the forehead. All my work is from stories told from relatives, hunting experiences, once in a while even from dreams that I have. I don't like to do just anything. Everything I do has a story behind it, and that's how I choose to do my work. I think it helps me both spiritually, it helps me mentally, emotionally. Brings me back into time, because my ancestors are the ones that taught me how to carve, I believe. Who knows where the next generation is going to go. They may not be interested in carving. They may want to do stuff that has to deal with the Western culture, but that's okay, as long as they make a living. But I think it's important also to identify yourself as Inupiaq, Athabaskan, Slinkit, Haida, Tsimshian, Yupik, Cupik, Siberian Yupik. We've been here for a long time, and we want to remain here for a longer time.
This is about the investment in the human spirit and really believing in that. And you can translate that into the Two Spirits Art Gallery, how we work together as a team to put that together. And if you see what it is today in its small operations, you can then only envision what it's going to grow into tomorrow.
I've never been able to say this, maybe 9 years ago, but I'm proud of my work. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what I've become. And I want to be a better person. And I think I've become that person when I carve.